What if the reason that love keeps going wrong has nothing to do with who you're choosing, what you're saying, or how you're showing up on a date? What if the real block is something happening beneath all of that, something that you can't think your way out of because it's not actually a thinking problem? I'm SMr&x. I'm a nervous system and attraction code coach, and today I want to talk to you about something that changed everything for me and hundreds of my clients: the role that your nervous system is playing in your love life, and specifically whether it is quietly working against you without you even knowing. If you've watched any of my other videos or you've been in my world for a little while, you will know that I talk about the nervous system a lot. And sometimes people hear that and they think, okay, but what does that actually have to do with dating, Sam? Everything. It has everything to do with it. Because here's what I see happening all the time: incredibly self-aware, super intelligent, emotionally available people who can't figure out why they keep ending up in the same situations. And they've done some journaling, they've done some manifestations, they know attachment styles, and they can actually describe their patterns in perfect detail. They're still stuck being attracted to the same type of person. And it isn't a mindset problem, it's a nervous system problem, because you can't out-logic the nervous system. So let me explain what I mean. The nervous system is essentially your internal safety system. It's been learning since you were really small what love looks like, feels like, and sounds like. And it made a template. And the template is built from your experiences of connection. So how love was given or taken away, whether it was consistent or unpredictable, whether you had to earn it or whether it was just there. And this is the crucial part. Your nervous system is always scanning for what is familiar, not what's good for you, not what it consciously wants, familiar. So if love previously felt like anxiety, uncertain, like you had to work for it, the nervous system learned that that tension is what love feels like, and then it will keep pulling you towards that same feeling. Not because you are self-sabotaging, not because you don't deserve any better, but because your body is doing exactly what it is actually designed to do. It's seeking out what it recognizes. And there's a phrase that I use all the time with my clients: familiar and safe are not the same, but your nervous system doesn't know it yet. And I was exactly the same. I grew up not wanting to be with anyone that is like my biological father, and ended up being attracted to people who were exactly the same. And the ones that were lovely, that were kind, I wasn't interested in. And I remember once I was in a relationship with this guy. Let's call him Ben. We will keep him anonymous. He was so nice to me. He bought me flowers. He listened to me when I talked. He asked me about my feelings. And it lasted 2 weeks. And the excuse that I gave was I didn't like his trainers. But in truth, like, I'm not actually that fickle. I don't care about your trainers. It was because him being nice unnerved me. And I actually thought he was going to hurt me the most because I felt I couldn't trust my own judgment. Anyway, shout out to Ben. He lives in Australia now with his wife, and by all accounts, from what I can see, is a really, really good guy. So, obviously, what is meant to be is meant to be, and I was always meant to be with Alan. But previous Sam would not have even considered Alan because he's a good guy. So let's just go through how this can show up in you and how it used to show up in me before I learned how to regulate. I want to get really, really specific because this isn't just about who you attract. A dysregulated nervous system affects your love life in ways that probably will surprise you. It obviously affects who you're drawn to. So when your nervous system is dysregulated, the people who feel exciting, magnetic, unpredictable, those are the people it flags as romance, because that emotional charge is what you learn to associate with love. Meanwhile, like Ben, someone who is kind, available, your body registers them as flat, as boring, as having no spark or fear because they may hurt you. The spark that you're chasing, that I was chasing, it is actually anxiety, because anxiety and chemistry feel exactly the same. So it's your nervous system recognizing a pattern and then lighting up. This affects how you show up on dates. So have you ever gone on a date, felt really nervous, gone a little bit blank or over-talked, maybe under-talked, or kind of become a version of yourself that you felt like you were performing? And then like on the way home, you're like, who was that? Because that's nothing to do with confidence. That is a dysregulated nervous system, putting you into a kind of mild threat response. So when your body perceives something as a potential threat, it activates a stress response, and you really can't be warm, you can't be present, you can't be curious when your nervous system is in a survival mode. It's just not possible, and that is science. That's not opinion. The other thing that this does is it affects your ability to communicate in relationships. So this is the one that most people don't expect. If you think about the last time you had a difficult conversation with a partner, someone you were dating, or just anyone in your life, did you shut down? Did you go cold, or did it escalate faster than you ever thought it was going to? Did you say things that you didn't mean, or did you go completely silent when you probably should have spoken up for yourself? Because most people come away from these kind of conversations kicking themselves, thinking, why didn't I say something? But this isn't actually you. Shutting down, it is a freeze response. Escalating is a fight response. And both are your nervous system trying to keep you safe from a perceived threat. The problem is that your partner, that person you're talking to, that date might not actually be a threat. The people that you learnt this response from probably were. And your body doesn't know the difference. Doesn't know the difference between emotional danger, physical danger. It just responds. And then when two dysregulated nervous systems try to have a hard conversation, it almost never goes well. So if me and Alan had met before we both went through our own personal journey, our healing journeys, we would have literally been like a ticking time bomb waiting to go off in a relationship, because both of us were dysregulated, and two dysregulated people together never goes well. This can also affect how much intimacy you can tolerate. So some people find that when a relationship starts going well, they actually start to pull back. They get a bit restless, they get critical, they pick fights, or they keep a bit of an emotional distance. And then other people will go the complete opposite. They become anxious, they become clingy, they need constant reassurance. And both of these, even though on opposite ends of the scale, are nervous system responses to intimacy feeling unsafe. So getting close to someone means that you're becoming vulnerable. And if vulnerability was associated with pain at any point in your life, your nervous system will try and protect you from it, even if you consciously want it. So what changes when you start working with your nervous system instead of against it? I want to give you a picture of what's actually possible here, because I don't want this to feel like it's a life sentence. When your nervous system starts to feel genuinely safe, not just intellectually told that it's safe, but actually regulated at a body level, something starts to change. So the attraction to unavailable people starts to change. The person who is kind and present starts to feel exciting, not boring. And you start to show up on dates as yourself, actually yourself, not the performing version of you, just the real, absolutely wonderful, kick-ass version of you. And if they don't like it, you're actually okay with that, because they're not your person. Hard conversations become something that you're okay with, and you're not just surviving them, you're doing it because you know it's for the best for you. And that intimacy, it stops feeling like a threat, and it starts feeling like what it's supposed to be, which is connection. And this isn't a dream, this isn't airy fairy. Most of you know my story, and I've seen this happen thousands of times. So how do you actually start doing this? And I want to give you 3 things that you can do today that will begin to build that nervous system safety. So number 1 is start to notice your body's signals in certain situations. I don't mean what you're thinking, I'm talking about what your body is doing. So before a date, during a conversation, when you're on a dating app or reading a text, where do you feel it in your body? Do you feel any tension? Does it make you hold your breath? Do you feel anything in your stomach? Because the thing is, you can't regulate if you don't know what you're regulating. So you need to start noticing what is going on for you. Awareness is the first step. Number 2, slow down your responses. So I don't mean in like a game playing, treat 'em mean, keep 'em keen way. I mean slow down enough to feel safe. So before you send a message, before you react in any conversation, pause, take a breath. That tiny gap between your response is where your nervous system learns that it doesn't have to react from a survival mode. So try it now as you listen to me. Just take a breath. You're just letting your body know that you're safe. And number 3 is get really curious about what feels familiar versus what feels safe for you. So when you do feel that pull towards someone, start to get curious about it instead of being like swept away. Start to ask yourself the question, like, is this anxiety or is it excitement? Is it connection? Is there a pattern here that I recognize? And you don't actually have to do anything with that immediately. just ask the questions. Because these things, they seem like super small, and they're not. And I always say to my clients, let's get better 1% every single day, because in 10 days, that's 10%. If you start noticing how your body is feeling every day, over time, you will completely rewire the patterns that have been running your love life all this time. And if you are ready, if you want to go a little bit deeper, I have linked my How to Find Love quiz below, which will give you a personalized plan, a roadmap based on the 11 years of working with people to find love, of what you need to do to start that process to finding love. And I will link that all down below. And just so you know, you have already started that process by being here today. I will see you next week. I'm SMr&x. Have a wonderful, magical day.